Welcome to Seattle Public Utilities Ask Evelyn Live, where we answer your questions about recycling, compost, garbage, and other trashy topics. I'm your host, Becca Fong, and this week's episode, Sustainable Camping Swaps. Even though it is still January, I hear you people out there, I swear summer is right around the corner. And so, to kick things off, we're going to get ready for life on the go and dust off some of our camping gear and figure out ways to make that just a little bit more sustainable. And we've got a special guest this week. We've got Quinn Apuzzo joining us. And of course, Pat is joining us to help keep us all on track.
You always,
Hey,
say,
Pat.
you always say keep us on track, but I don't know if that's what I do.
Oh, you know that's your job, Pat. You know you gotta keep us in our lane here. You know,
All right.
that's
Hey,
your
Quinn.
job.
Hey, Pat. Hey, Becca. Thanks
Hi,
so much for
Quinn.
having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So those of you who do not know Miss Quinn Apuzzo, would you introduce yourself, Quinn?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my name is Quinn Apuzzo. I work for Seattle Public Utilities, and I help coordinate the Solid Waste Advisory Committee.
Awesome. We are so glad to have you on the show. We'll talk a little bit about your role here at Seattle Public Utilities. But on Ask Evelyn, it's all about questions. So, Pat, we've got a good question this week for kicking off summer.
We do. Hey, let's go camping, huh? Here
Yes,
we go.
absolutely.
Question comes from Stephanie. Hi, Evelyn. My friends and I love to hike and camp in the summer. You just can't beat cooking over a campfire or sleeping under the stars. One thing that's always bothered me is how much waste a weekend of camping creates. Do you have any ways I could create less waste while in the wilderness? P.S. I'm all about pack it in, pack it out camping, so anything I'm bringing comes back with me. One of many reasons I want to try to reduce my footprint. So, Quinn, what do you got for Stephanie? What do you think?
Yes. Thank you, Stephanie. I love this question. You know, one of the best things, as we all know about living in the Pacific Northwest, is access to the outdoors. Two of my favorite things are camping, but also food. So that's what I want to talk about today. So one of the things I like to do when I'm getting ready for a camping trip is meal plan. And this is great because it helps me do a couple different things that I like to do, prepare, and also create less waste. So what I do is when I'm doing my meal plan, I like to portion out my my food items in individual reusable containers.
Yeah.
So I got my condiments, salt, and some other goodies in here. And this is great for a couple different reasons. If you're buying in bulk, you're reducing packaging in the first place. But then also once you get to your campsite, it's easier to cook. You just throw your ingredients together, you do your thing, and you're ready to go. So you save time. But also you're not dealing with packaging waste at your campsite. And then last but not least, another thing that I like to do is once I've made my meal, I have this container left over and I can use it to gather up any garbage that maybe I am creating over the course of my camping weekend. So I can use this to pack out any waste that I do have at the end of my trip. Oh, and then last but not least, I just want to mention that meal planning is a great way to reduce food waste. So just by doing that planning in advance, you're less likely to be cooking more than you're going to eat or be able to get to in the time you'll be able to use it. So that's my tip for you.
Wow.
I think that's good. I mean, food waste and packaging, right, Pat? Like that's what we got all the time, right?
Yeah.
So
I love the idea of reusing that snap top container too as your take home compost bin,
Right?
I mean, there's some stuff you can feed the birds or whatever when you're out and about, but some of the stuff is not really it's compostable, but doesn't mean you should toss it out in the woods. I mean,
Right. Yep, absolutely.
no, totally. So Pat, what do you got?
Well, we do, bring our reusable dish towels and napkins, things like that, because when you're camping, you don't want a whole bunch of disposables. You don't want to create more stuff you have to pack out. So using the reusables in that space, having a set of napkins, like assigning a napkin per family member or per camper, and then just a couple of good washcloths, these dish rags they help out in so many ways when you're out there. If it rains a little bit, which it probably will, to wipe some things down and then just hang. And I also have a clothesline. I don't have one handy right now. I should have got my clothesline out, but a nice handy little clothesline with some clips to hang the clothes or dish towels and whatnot. It's really handy to manage your campsite with that.
Yeah, for sure. I know we talk a lot about, so like when you're going camping, particularly like car camping, right? It's really, I mean, I get kind of the lure of having disposable things because you
Right.
are there to enjoy your time. You don't want to spend it doing dishes, but you know, we talk about this a lot on the show. It's like, if you just have life simpler with less stuff, if
Yeah.
you have
I've
less
heard
things,
that said. I've heard
right?
that before. Yeah.
It's just going to be so much easier. So one thing we talk about a lot is reusable stuff. So one thing that's kind of nice too is that we try to have, whenever we go, we try to have like a set of reusable things. I actually picked up a set of 4 of these babies, old school. They were 50 cents a piece at my local thrift store. And you know, there's 4 of them. There's 4 people in my family. And so everybody has one dish, right? Then they're responsible for washing their own dish. So you're not doing everybody's dishes, right? And then different cups, kind of like napkins, Pat, like assign people a dish, assign people a cup, assign people a utensil. And then if they're all washing one that they use, that makes it a lot easier and makes it less tempting to have like disposable paper plates and utensils and cups and stuff. So I know one other thing is too, we talked a little bit about like packaging. Quinn, you talked about that at home too. You're buying in bulk. It's a lot easier to unpack your stuff at home and deal with like the recyclable packaging that you can recycle at your home in Seattle, right? A lot of campgrounds don't have recycling. They just have garbage. So if you can manage a lot of that packaging on your own at home before you go out, it's just less stuff to bring with you and less stuff to manage. So.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, I've definitely been down that road before where you go to drop off some recycling when you're out in another county and they don't take all the things we take.
Right.
So there are certain, and we all know, you know, some of those things like, you know, the clam shells or the to-go containers, the different types of things that your strawberries might come in or whatever.
Right.
And a lot of communities do not want that, you know, rigid plastic, but it's not the classic, you know, tub or bottle. So you know, you have to pack some of that stuff home to recycle it. And that's fine.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. And I think one other tip too is that you guys know it's like do the best you can, right? Like pick a couple of things to kind of lighten the load, but we're not going to get all crazy and hardcore on it. We're just here to provide you with some tips. So Stephanie, thanks for the question about that. And to recap really quickly, like unpacking stuff like Quinn was saying, some meal planning, using reusable containers that can do some double duty, you know, assigning people individual things like place settings, napkins, cups, bringing stuff that you can reuse that just reduces the amount of stuff that you're going to have to bring with you and then potentially bring back. So hopefully those were super helpful little tips. And again, you know, try it out. If you guys have suggestions too, send them to us. We'd love to hear from you and get your ideas of what works. So one other thing that I'm really glad that Quinn, you're here with us is that I want to hear about the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, which is kind of a mouthful, but that's your job here at Seattle Public Utilities. And we love, because we love an acronym, we shorten it to SWAC. So
I thought I had my notifications turned off. I'm so sorry about that.
That's
I'm back.
okay.
I'm back, and thank you, Becca. I would love to share a little bit about SWAC. SWAC, which is it's a rough acronym, but what we're talking about here is Seattle has a Solid Waste Advisory Committee, and this is an opportunity for those of us who are the recycling guru in your neighborhood, or if you're the go-to person for, you know, what goes where type of questions within your community, within your group, this could be a great opportunity for you. So really, who we're talking to about this opportunity with upcoming with SWAC is Seattle residents, businesses, and organizations that are interested in helping Seattle move towards zero waste, and also want to get engaged with local government and have an opportunity to influence policies and programs as we're moving down that path. So now through June 24th, Seattle Public Utilities is accepting applications to join the Solid Waste Advisory Committee. The committee is a great group of volunteers, again, from across the community that come together about once a month. We work with Pat, we work with Becca, we work with a number of other folks across the solid waste division to learn about and provide feedback on policies and programs that relate to composting, recycling, and waste reduction. So if that sounds like something that would be interesting to you, I highly encourage you to go on our website to get more information and consider applying. And our website is seattle.gov /utilities/SWAC, which is SWAC. And that will be in the show notes following the program below.
Totally. So, all right. I mean, we're going to boil it down to, if y'all are watching this, we're looking for you, because you guys are like, you guys are into this and you're also thinking like, how else can I like learn more? And how can I influence what's happening around me? So definitely check out the information that we're going to have linked, the website that Quinn just mentioned, and we would love to hear from you because it's a really good opportunity to just get your voice out there and, you know, help shape where Seattle's solid waste system is going in the future. So we hope that you guys all put in your applications and we hear from you. So
I've attended a couple of meetings, not, recently, and they've been doing a thing called SWAC chat, where SWAC members get together and, it's a Zoom call. So they break into different rooms and it's just really rich conversation about what everybody's doing in their personal lives and work lives, but related to reducing waste. And so in addition to the agenda that the utility provides for the committee gets to interact and compare notes and just build community within themselves at the same time. So it's been great. I highly recommend folks apply to SWAC.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, folks. So just a really quick reminder, it's a few weeks out, but we have one more collection event coming up. It's going to be in the U District. So we will have some information about that event as well. That'll be kind of the last one rounding out stuff. We take a pause generally during the summer, but that's a good one if you happen to live in the U District and you have some stuff that's harder to recycle. We'll be picking that stuff up. Great. So thank you, Stephanie, for your question this week. Thank you, Quinn, for joining us.
Thank you.
And remember, folks, this show's run on your questions, so send them to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or send us an email at askevelyn@seattle.gov. And we will see you guys next week. And with that, I'm Becca Fong, and life's simpler with less stuff.
And I'm Pat Kaufman. Remember to recycle right. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. See you, Quinn.
Thank you.
Bye.